Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley coming to you today from the office of the 101st in Lansing today. A lot going on. Want to get right to it. We did have a COVID committee today. We're going to have COVID committee tomorrow. I'll get to that in just a minute. On some other news, there's been talk that, of course, last week we in COVID committee we had testimony from businesses that have remained shuttered by executive order, asking for relief, allowed to be open. And then all of a sudden the governor started hinting, well, maybe next week. And then the Free Press had an article, well, governor may do this week. I am so sick of being toyed with. So then the word was she was going to announce today. Well, the governor at a press conference about other things said that when asked about her decision about opening up these other businesses, ice rinks, gymnasiums, all sorts of things, that are in the state that are still closed. Her answer was very soon. She acknowledged, she was talking that she won't be bullied into this. So somebody said, what are you talking about bullying? Who's bullying you? She acknowledged that she used the phrase a few times and that she means that she won't be pushed or encouraged or tweeted to make a decision that isn't supported by science. I again ask, what science? Whitmer also was asked why casinos are allowed to open at 15% capacity, but not other facilities. She said that the sovereign tribal nations had resumed gaming earlier, and it showed that there weren't any major issues. She said, but for businesses, there have been ample pieces of evidence that these can be spreaders. Well, gyms in northern Michigan have been allowed to open up. We haven't seen any super spreading. We have seen restaurants open up, to increase capacity. And we haven't seen major super spreading other than maybe one in Lansing. So, but yet wedding venues in the north were hammered down. How is a wedding venue different than a restaurant? I really don't know. But anyway, so... I said when I was campaigning that I got a good BS detector. It's going off. These are people's lives you're dealing with here. And you're very soon, we'll let you know very soon. These businesses could have been open a month, 2 months ago. You're waiting for the data and science. Good God. I so cannot wait for the Supreme Court. Please find in our favor on 1945. This system of government was not to be made up one-person rule. Sorry. Some of the things that have happened have been good. Many of them have been heavy-handed and wrong. And keeping these businesses locked down. All right, so here's the thing. Today in COVID committee, we had the automobile industry and the manufacturers in to talk about how they've handled COVID. And they've talked about how they've all had protocols in place. They follow them. They do everything right. And there have been no instances in the state of Michigan where any of these manufacturers or auto plants have had any issues. No diagnosis, nobody with COVID. If an employee has had COVID, they've been able to prove that it's happened when they've been out of work. It hasn't happened at work, okay? And they have protocols in place. Gymnasiums, ice rinks, wedding venues, they've all got protocols. Let them open up. To take the government to close a business down and force them into bankruptcy is wrong. And we've got to get through all of this. We've got to get 45 repealed. But Madam Governor, open these people up. Stop toying with them. You can do it. I mean, Dr. Khaldun, it's in here. One of the reasons Dr. Khaldun doesn't want gyms opening up because she's struggling with airborne transmission. People might breathe too heavy in gyms. Well, then, they're breathing heavy in a ton of other states that have allowed gyms to open up. But I guess maybe they don't breathe as heavy as Michiganders. It's crazy. We talk about data and science. We've got it opened up in other parts of the country, but that data and science isn't good enough. Explain to me why. I don't understand, Madam Governor. I don't understand, Dr. Calhoun. Just take your word for it. Okay, you got it. This one is funny. Not like ha 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 funny, but ironic funny. So Governor Whitmer put together a nursing home task force. Said, go out there and tell us what we should and shouldn't do. Story says, Governor Gretchen Whitmer's task force on nursing homes suggested the state continue to explore creating dedicated facilities for COVID-19 nursing home residents. A concept similar to what the GOP legislature passed a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that was vetoed by the governor. The GOP plan was not good enough, but your task force says, just like theirs. Who's playing politics, Madam Governor? The dedicated facility recommendation was one of 28 delivered in the report, which also suggested that people testing positive for COVID-19 should be placed in hospitals or in nursing facilities that have had experience caring for the COVID-19 patients. They would call these new facilities care and recovery centers. There's a good idea. Other recommendations from the task force include identifying and coordinating with hospitals with excess surgery capacity and increasing opportunities for safe visitation, such as window visits. The President and CEO of Healthcare Association of Michigan highlighted a finding in the report that distributing and allocating personal protective equipment at nursing homes should improve. They also pointed to recommendations on how family members can see their loved ones more often, which they call crucial for the mental and physical well-being of seniors. Many of our seniors might as well be in prison because they can't see anybody. Data and science, swag. Oh, this is interesting. The state will no longer be publishing daily COVID-19 case and death updates on Sundays, starting September 6th. That's this Sunday. The department will instead report Sunday's information on Monday. The reason they say this is they're often erratic because on those days, less testing and fewer staff. So you'll get Sunday's numbers on Monday. Let's see here. Oh, this is another interesting thing. Science and data swag. The case positivity rate was 3.3% as of Monday, a starkly lower rate than the more than 60% case positivity rate that was at the start of the pandemic in March. And its second highest point of 41.69% on April 4th. So at its height, positive rate was 60%. It is now at 3.3. More testing, but the number of positives going down. DHHS on Tuesday confirmed 718 new COVID-19 cases, 15 deaths, 8 of which were reported added to. So 8 out of 15, so there were 7 deaths. Again, that's where we're at. Our death rate has stayed really, really low. 3.3% positive rate, right? So 97% get tested, don't have COVID. 20-somethings have the highest COVID-19 rate in Michigan since the beginning of June, and people under 30 make up 40% of all cases. Lots of numbers here, and those are hard when you're not looking at them, so I'll try and bounce through them here without getting too crazy into exact specific numbers. Between June 1 and August 18th, the 20 to 29 age group, the 20-somethings, has had 10,000 COVID cases, or 23% of the cases, confirmed since June. Over a 3-month period, the next closest group in their 30s with 15%. So what was that? 23%, then 15%. After that are the 40s somethings and followed by the 10 and 19-year-olds. If the 3 youngest brackets were combined, 0 to 29 years, that would be 40% of the total cases. The middle 3 age brackets, 30 to 59-year-olds, make up 42% of the cases. And the final 3 age brackets, 60 to 80 years old, 17% of the cases since June. The over 20 to 29 age group have now seen the most total cases since the beginning of the pandemic, overtaking the 50 to 59 bracket. So that's kind of interesting. But the 20-somethings right now have the highest rates in Michigan since the beginning of June, which again makes sense to me. young kids, they're bulletproof. They're the ones that, do crazy things because we're free. So it doesn't surprise me. They're out and about, they're meeting, they're doing things. But again, their mortality rate is way, way low. And it's helping build up herd immunity. That's the other thing that, whether it's the perfect answer or not, we're going to need some form of herd immunity, right? So, sorry about that. I knocked you off of there. See? I'm not going to redo the whole thing just because of that little boo-boo. I apologize for bumping you. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. We're going to have another COVID committee hearing tomorrow, and we have Director Steve Gray of the Unemployment Insurance Agency in, and he's got some splaining to do, and because there's still some things that are just, he's got some splaining to do. So I apologize for knocking you off my perch here, but we'll do a little better job for you on Friday. So hang in there with me. That's what I got. It is frustrating as heck, but I'm no more frustrated than I know you are. So we're still fighting for you. The Supreme Court I update you. Everybody's always asking. The Supreme Court was supposed to have heard cases beginning today, but Judge Bernstein, who is blind, one of his closest aides was recovering from COVID. And because of his sight issues, he needs this person to help him process a lot of this information. I don't know how they do it, but I trust them. So things got bumped back to next Wednesday. So I know, but understood. So that's where we're at with the Supreme Court case. Things will be heard next week. All right, I'm out of here for now. Have a good evening. Hang in there, Michigan.